Welcome. Thank you to the City of Detroit and to the APEC Secretariat for all the work and welcome that's gone into this meeting. It's now my pleasure to introduce our Chair, United States Secretary of Transportation, the Honorable Pete Buttigieg. Mr. Chairman.
Well, thank you, Annie. Good morning and welcome. It is a distinct honor and pleasure to welcome all of you to the 11th APEC Transportation Ministers meeting. I want to recognize U.S. APEC Senior Official Matt Murray, APEC Executive Director Tantri Dr. Rebecca Santamaria, the APEC Business Advisory Council represented by Laura Lane, APEC Transportation Working Group Lead Shepherd Jason Hill, and I want to recognize all of my fellow transportation ministers and heads of delegation here today. And welcome to Detroit, a great city in the American Midwest which takes pride in its transportation tradition, dating back over 100 years, from helping to lead the original automotive revolution to the great energy and creativity on display here today, helping to shape the future of the automotive sector. And thank you for bringing to this first ministerial meeting of the U.S. host year that spirit of cooperation and optimism that has borne so many positive outcomes in APEC convenings to date. I think so much of that positive work and the potential we have for success at this meeting is based on the fact that we are all motivated by the same goal, to deliver greater prosperity for the peoples we serve. And that is our purpose this week. We're gathering aware that so many challenges to achieving prosperity in any economy are challenges facing every economy. And often such challenges have particularly great impact on the Asia-Pacific region and demonstrate the region's importance. Pandemic-driven supply disruptions, increasingly frequent extreme weather events, and economic inequality. These challenges don't just affect one economy while sparing the others, they affect us all. All of us are working to address them, and all of us can benefit from dialogue and relationships as we do so. On the other side of the same coin as the challenges, we find tremendous opportunities ahead for our transportation systems to significantly reduce greenhouse gas emissions, to create good jobs and economic growth that benefits everyone, and to build stronger supply chains. These, too, are often shared opportunities that grow even more promising through dialogue and exchange. I'd like to share a couple of examples of where this work matters. First, supply chains. Many of our economies are continuing to deal with major challenges to global supply chains. Some have been caused by the lingering consequences of COVID. Many have been made far worse because of Russia's unjustified war of aggression against Ukraine. For all of their different causes, these pressures on supply chains have made our work more difficult, but we are acting to make our supply chains more resilient, protecting our peoples against the higher prices that come from disruptions, and ensuring that the flow of goods that powers our economies succeeds, including right here in the auto manufacturing capital of Detroit. Here in the U.S., several of the efforts we are implementing will help goods move more quickly, affordably, and with lower carbon emissions, from new processes to collect and share data so that global supply chain operators can more efficiently move goods, to coordinating green shipping corridors on the waters between here and Canada. We look forward to discussing that more in the coming days. There's a second local example I'd like to highlight. Just over a mile from where we are sitting, our department is funding the reconstruction and redesign of a highway, Interstate 375. The current highway, built in 1964, contributed to inequality in this city. During its construction, the voices of low-income and black residents in the area were ignored, and in the resulting design, whole neighborhoods were lost. Even today, the current design divides neighborhoods from opportunities downtown. But with help from $100 million in funding from our department, the state and the city are acting to replace this highway with a boulevard that connects neighborhoods with safer walking, bicycling, and driving, and fosters more economic growth that makes everyone better off. It even uses features like permeable pavement to prevent runoff from reaching Detroit's water supply, benefiting health and safety through more environmentally responsible design. The project was locally conceived, reflecting community priorities, and then our department provided technical assistance and funding. I share these two examples because I believe they reflect some of the principles that will guide this convening. The example of supply chains has to do with us using better exchange of information to make sure that existing processes and infrastructure work more efficiently while establishing new approaches for the future. The second example has to do with finding better ways to connect instead of divide, as all good transportation should do, empowering those who have been excluded and low-income communities as we go. We're committed to deepening our connections with APEC because it is to the benefit of all of the economies where we work. And we look forward to listening and learning as the leaders gathered here share your experiences and your views on how we can shape transportation to deliver the prosperity we all seek. And we look forward to hearing what we believe is working well and where improvements are needed, including, importantly, to support transportation workers. Detroit is known for putting the world on four wheels. It's also the city where auto unions took form and helped to create a middle class of workers that remains a backbone of U.S. economic prosperity. We carry that lesson forward to today as we plan for the future. So thank you again for honoring us with your presence here. I know we will approach these coming days with openness and with ambitions to match the scale of opportunity in transportation, and I'm deeply optimistic about the work we will do to make our people's lives safer, fairer, and more prosperous. And with that, I'm now pleased to hand it over to Executive Director, Dr. Rebecca Fatima Santamaria.